Okay, let's get right into it. The story you've been told about A'ja Wilson's signature shoe, the one about it gathering dust on shelves and being quietly shuffled to the clearance rack, is a lie. It's a deliberate fabrication. The entire narrative that pits Caitlin Clark's explosive shoe launch against a supposedly failed one from Wilson isn't just a misinterpretation. It's a calculated plot, designed to manufacture a rivalry for clicks. And tonight, we are going to connect the dots and expose the entire blueprint. We are going to filter out the noise and show you how this falsehood was constructed, piece by piece, because the truth is far more interesting than the fiction they're selling. If you're here for the real story behind the headlines, the one that treats you like an intelligent analyst, do me a quick favor and smash that like button. It shows us we're on the right track and that you're part of the team that's committed to digging deeper. So, before we dismantle the official story, we have to understand what it is. For weeks, you've been inundated with a very specific, very dramatic narrative. It goes something like this. Caitlin Clark, the generational phenom, drops a shoe with Nike and it vaporizes.
Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out, trying to get the shoe.
The demand is so insane, it crashes Nike's multi-billion-dollar infrastructure. It's a digital tsunami. Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson, the established two-time MVP, releases her shoe and it's crickets. The story is that her sneakers are a commercial dud, a bargain bin afterthought. The media paints a picture of Wilson being furious, watching from the sidelines as the rookie effortlessly steals the crown she worked for years to earn. It's a simple, powerful story, the organic, unstoppable force of nature versus the spurned establishment queen. But it's a story built on a foundation of sand. To really understand the deception, you have to start with the product itself. The shoe that caused this frenzy was not the first Caitlin Clark signature shoe. That's the first pillar of the lie. What she released was a player-exclusive colorway of the Nike Kobe 5 Protro. Now, for the analysts watching, those three terms are absolutely critical. First, player-exclusive, or historically, these are special designs made just for the athlete, in their team's colors that the public can't even buy. The fact that Nike was releasing a limited number of them to the public was an event in itself.
Caitlin, and was thought to be a colorway made just for her up until just a couple days ago, where Nike's official images of the shoes got leaked and the announcement was made saying that everyone will now have a chance to wear.
Second, and this is the most important detail the clickbait channels conveniently ignore, it was a Kobe. The Kobe Bryant signature line is one of the most revered, most collected, and most beloved sneaker franchises in the history of basketball. Linking Clark to the Mamba legacy wasn't just a shoe release, it was a powerful cosign from Nike, an anointing. This created what we can call the Kobe effect, a massive built-in hype multiplier that has nothing to do with any other player in the WNBA. And third, this was executed as a hype drop. This is a specific marketing strategy designed from the ground up to create artificial scarcity and drive a media frenzy. Now, this is where we get into rumor territory, but multiple sneaker world insiders have reported the same thing.
I don't think I'd be in the wrong to say Caitlin Clark's Kobe is the sneaker of the week, and everyone's focus is mostly on this one. If you really wanted that shoe, I hope you put your footwork in, because there's supposedly only 13,000 pairs on Sneakers App tomorrow. Combine that with a really high resale value, I expect this shoe to be a relatively difficult comp. But my hope seriously is that with Caitlin Clark's sneaker coming out, that this sets a precedent and we might see other exclusive player edition Kobe's drop for the public.
So, let's connect these dots. Nike didn't release a standard Caitlin Clark shoe. They released a hyper-limited, highly coveted collector's item tied to a legendary brand and deliberately engineered it to sell out instantly. It was a marketing masterstroke, not a standard product launch. And comparing this event to anything else is frankly dishonest. So now that we've established the specific nature of the Clark Kobe release, let's apply that same analytical rigor to the other side of this equation. What exactly was the Nike A1? Well, unlike the Clark PE, the A1 is A'ja Wilson's first ever signature shoe. For any athlete, this is a crowning achievement. But for a black WNBA player, the context is even more significant. Wilson's A1 was the first signature shoe from Nike for a black WNBA star since Candace Parker's deal all the way back in 2010. This wasn't just a product, it was a culturally important moment that took 2 full years to develop. And because it was a flagship signature launch, it had a completely different release strategy. The deep search file confirms it was a phased, mass-market release intended for wide public availability. There was an initial limited drop on Nike Sneakers app, which, by the way, also sold out in minutes. But that was immediately followed by a wider release at major national retailers like Foot Locker, Champs, and Dick's Sporting Goods. The goal wasn't manufactured scarcity, it was accessibility. This brings us to the core of the lie. The viral narrative you've heard, the one about Wilson's line gathering dust and getting quietly shuffled to the clearance rack, is an absolute fabrication. The research is clear. A review of major retail sites like Nike.com and Dick's Sporting Goods shows the A1 collection and its various colorways being sold at full retail price, not on clearance. The entire premise of the competitor's video is built on a falsehood designed to manufacture conflict. I'm genuinely curious. For those of you watching who have been in these stores recently, what have you seen with your own eyes? Have you actually seen the Nike A1 in a bargain bin, or is it right there on the main displays, at full price? Let me know your experience in the comments below. So let's put the pieces on the board. In one hand, you have a hyper-limited collector's item release, co-branded with a global icon designed specifically to create scarcity and sell out in seconds. In the other, you have the wide mass-market launch of a brand new signature line, designed for accessibility and long-term presence in stores. Comparing the immediate sellout time and aftermarket frenzy of these two fundamentally different products isn't just comparing apples to oranges. It's like comparing the auction price of a rare screen-used movie prop to the retail price of the mass-produced action figure and then claiming the action figure is a failure. It's an absurd and deeply dishonest comparison. Labeling the narrative a deliberate and strategic misinterpretation of Nike's marketing. By framing these different strategies as a head-to-head competition, the media creates a simple story with a winner and a loser. They can report on the explosive resale prices of Clark's PE.
Nike released the shoe this morning for $190. That was the going rate for the signature sneaker. Now, I'm here to tell you, as you guys can see right here on Google, just type in Caitlin Clark Kobe 5. StockX, currently right now, they're going for $345. On GOAT, they're going for $386. At Flight Club, you're looking at $375. Must mind you, these sneakers was just released a few hours ago. These sneakers were retail for $190. This is the Caitlin Clark.
And then present it as direct evidence that Wilson's brand is failing, conveniently ignoring that one was built for short-term speculative mania and the other for long-term market presence. This isn't just sloppy journalism. It's the intentional construction of a false reality. They flattened a complex marketing truth into a simplistic and inflammatory narrative, all for the purpose of generating online engagement. And it worked. The question we have to ask now is why? What is the ultimate goal of manufacturing this conflict? So we have to ask the critical question, cui bono? Who benefits from creating this false narrative? The answer is simple: the media ecosystem itself. Mainstream and social media outlets are not passive observers here. The deep search file identifies them as active participants in shaping this narrative. They are frequently criticized for pushing a rivalry frame, not just between Clark and Wilson, but also with Angel Reese, because it's perceived as a manufactured beef designed to generate drama, clicks, and viewership. And let's be honest, many of you watching have been connecting these same dots on Reddit and in the comments for weeks, and you were onto something. You saw that the story being sold didn't quite add up. It felt engineered. But this goes deeper than just lazy reporting for clicks. The real danger here is that this manufactured rivalry feeds on and reinforces some of the oldest and most harmful racial tropes in the book. Media criticism, particularly from academic and progressive outlets, points out that the narrative often relies on a very specific and damaging script. This script collectively portrays Black WNBA players as a grievous gaggle of mean girls, while casting Caitlin Clark in the role of a fragile white girl or a heroic white martyr who needs to be protected from them. This framing is incredibly toxic. It completely ignores the long history of intense physical play and rookie hazing that is common in all professional sports for players of all races. And it creates real-world animosity, poisoning the well and leading to clips like this, where fans, fed by the narrative, see Wilson's actions or inaction as something sinister.
And all this was done while the shoe's being developed, while the collection's being done. To demonize Caitlin Clark and try to label her as a privileged white girl that's getting all the privileges, even though she earned everything she got. This ain't about color. This is about good and bad. And I honestly find this a little evil. I find this evil. This is beyond bad, because you had the ability to speak up and say, hey, everybody, relax. Don't get on Caitlin Clark. She got a shoe deal. That's cool. I got one too. Mine's taking a little bit, but it's going to come out. Just be patient. She could have came out and said that, but she didn't.
That right there is the consequence of the lie. A fan has been led to believe that a professional athlete is evil because the media chose to promote a simple, divisive story instead of a complex, truthful one. They created a villain where one didn't exist, because villains drive engagement. It's a story that's not just about shoes anymore. It's about how a media machine can pour gasoline on the most sensitive divisions in our culture, all for the sake of the algorithm. So when you filter out all the noise, the picture becomes incredibly clear. The clearance rack lie and the feud it was designed to create are a total distraction. The real high-stakes drama isn't happening between players. It's happening inside Nike's corporate headquarters. The most credible insider critiques, like those from former Nike exec Jordan Rodgers, aren't about A'ja Wilson at all. They're about a brand paralyzed by its own fear of the politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media. This fabricated rivalry is the smokescreen, but the real fire is Nike's strategic fumble. This lie damages Wilson's incredible legacy by painting her as a petty villain. It drags Clark into a toxic discourse that overshadows her talent, and it fractures a booming fan base at the most critical moment in the WNBA's history. The battleground isn't a sneaker store. It's for the soul of a league at a tipping point, and the real war is against the simplistic, toxic narratives that threaten to tear its new community apart. So that's our analysis. What's your take on all this? Let us know your opinion in the comments. Do you think the media deliberately manufactured this rivalry for clicks, or was it simply a case of lazy, incompetent reporting? If you appreciate this level of deep dive analysis and want to continue getting past the headlines, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications so you never miss our next investigation. And finally, if you feel this is a perspective that other fans need to hear to understand the full picture, please share this video. It's the best way to elevate the conversation and push back against the narratives designed to divide us.